We're finally done with the kitchen portion of our rental refresh. Here's a reminder of what it looked like when the renter moved out. Now, there were a few things that were damaged. Obviously, you can see the counters have some sections torn off and there were some cuts and some damage. The disposal was broken. The drawers in the refrigerator, there were some that were broken, so we were able to order a replacement from the manufacturer. And then really it was just super, super dirty. And then of course the flooring had to be removed. It was stained beyond repair. But really a lot of this was just filth. Now, the hardest thing for me with rental properties is not over improving them, because there comes a point where you put more money into them and you're not going to get a return out of it. And you don't want to overinvest because your appliances, your property is going to get damaged, unfortunately, with many of your renters. And so sometimes also with your own home, you have to pick priorities of what can make the home as nice and beautiful as possible, but makes the most sense for your budget. So for instance, in this case, what we did was we left the laminate countertops and we did an epoxy pour over them. This was a lot of elbow grease, but only, less than a couple $100. So this is a beautiful look. It looks like quartz. You're gonna have to treat it like laminate as far as what it can withhold, but it's a really nice look and it's really brightened up the space. I would say all in on these countertops, I was probably under $200. And that's because we did a pour over the existing countertops. We didn't have to build a counter. Now, if your countertop is so damaged that you can't pour over it, you could build them out of MDF and you're going to have an additional expense. But this was just a lot of prep. So I have a full video on this and I'll put a link in my description below to the whole epoxy countertop process. But I got these epoxy products that were like less than $150 for a gallon worth. Now, I learned a lesson the first time and I ended up probably using twice as much as I would have because I did an extra pour to get a nice smooth top coat, but you can learn more about that in the epoxy countertop video. But if you got a gallon kit of epoxy, it's like $138 plus all the tape and plastic and paintbrushes and sanding pads and all that stuff to just do the process is probably less than $50. So all in on these counters, I would definitely say we're under $200 here. So they definitely look nicer to me than a $200 counter. A backsplash is an excellent way to pack a punch to your property. A backsplash, if you can do it yourself, doesn't cost a lot of money, but can really elevate your design. This kitchen had a small partial backsplash, so of course I had to remove that to start. And then I just did a full backsplash. Now I had this tile left over from actually when we renovated my office building. We used this in the bathrooms. So I had some boxes left over, but I did the math. If you would have got a similar tile and some just pre-mix adhesive, which I would not recommend using in a wet area like a bathroom or a shower, but I think for a backsplash, you're fine. You probably would be able to do this backsplash for $150 or less. And honestly, I think you'd be a little bit less. I estimated a little bit high. So we are into it. If you didn't pre-have the tile like I did, $150 on the backsplash. One thing that we didn't do here was, of course, our appliances don't match, but I'm not going to make any more off of this property by having matching appliances. And you in your own home, if your appliances work, you don't want to buy appliances that you don't need. So you wait them out and you match them as you can. We've updated this, we've updated this, and when the time comes, we'll update these two and they'll match those as well. But right now they function and they work great. We painted our cabinets. They were painted before, but I didn't have the color. I had done this a long time ago and I didn't know what the color was. So we left the bottoms dark. We went a different dark color. We went a really nice green color, and then we painted the uppers white, which really brightened up the space. Other thing that I really wanted to change but didn't make sense to was the sink. I love a big single basin sink, but this one was perfectly fine and it would have cost us $150 to $300 to replace the sink. So we did the epoxy. I put the existing sink back in, but we did replace the faucet because the other one was dripping. So while the sink was out, we replaced the faucet. garbage disposal was broken. We replaced that. And then of course we replaced the flooring in the whole house because it was just damaged everywhere and that had to be done. So it's matching everywhere, and that really unifies the space in a nice way, especially when it's not a huge space. Having one consistent floor, I think, really helps the design. The other thing we did is in the dining space, which is where the camera is, we changed that light. That one was damaged as well, and so we put a new light up there. And actually we went from a 3-bulb light to a 6-bulb light, which it's daytime right now, but that really brightened up the space a lot too. So the only thing really that I have to do in here is on our way out, we'll add blinds, but we'll do that last minute so we don't get any dust or debris. And then we'll do a really good clean on the whole property on our way out. But this was a kitchen on a budget. Like I said, guys, we paint, the cost of paint for the cabinets. So what, 40 bucks? The flooring obviously was the biggest expense, but that was through the whole property. Countertops were about 200 bucks. Backsplash I had left over from another property, but if I didn't, that would have been probably less than 150 bucks in materials. So all in, we're definitely less than 1,000 bucks on our refresh here, just by painting our cabinets, doing our countertops, and adding a backsplash. So there's an affordable way to do it that makes sense for your home or for your investment properties if that's what you're trying to do. All right, guys, so if you want a more specific breakdown that's still a little bit approximate, because like I said, some of these products I will tell you, I was for sure under $200 on the countertops. I would say if you had to buy the tile, you'd be about $150, maybe a little bit less. My faucet was $99. I got this on sale and I had bought it prior for another project and I didn't use it. I am probably about $45 for painting the cabinets because of I got quartz because I needed a small amount. So probably a quart for the lowers, quart for the uppers, and then a quart of primer. I had to replace the garbage disposal and get a new plug, and that was $142. And then my broken refrigerator drawer replacement was probably about 75 bucks. And so if you were fixing up your kitchen, I definitely don't think you would have a broken disposal and broken drawers in your refrigerator. So right there, you could eliminate over $200. But if you did all the things I did here, you're probably looking at about $711. Plus, if you want to factor in the floor. So I replaced the floor in the whole house, but if you just add up this little dining space and this kitchen space, that floor was probably about $392 worth of flooring. But again, you might not do the whole dining space, just the kitchen would have been, less than half of that. So if you factor in all my repairs, plus the flooring in these two little spaces, you're looking at approximately $1,103. So not bad for a big kitchen improvement.